There's a lot of talk about content, and everything is content. If you look at the process, anything which is digital assets, which is non-physical, can be treated. Anything which is virtual is digital, and it's content. It's different. It's if you either buy a physical product or you're buying a non-physical product, and almost anything which is non-physical can be considered content. Whether it's the content of a book, it's the content of a video. The book itself is just paper, but what's written on it is content. So we've had films, and it's a blank film, or a photograph. It's a blank film. Once you have something on it, it's content. So this has been around for a long time. So we're going to look at two videos in which how we determine content. In this one, we're looking at um, how the content chain works. So it moves through this uh, layers of creation, contribution, production, encoding, playout, and storage, distribution, and consumption. So we're familiar with this in other forms. For example, electricity. We have electricity, which is generation, uh, transformation, distribution, and generation, the distribution, and the consumption. So there are three things in electricity. So similarly, in content, you would have to have these six lines of production. So you have creation of contribution, which can be video, it could be audio, it could be images, it could be text or files. So we have a system which we call GCA, which is an open standard where we can um, have all this in digital format on an online integrated platform. We have a software for that as well called Klextra, but the taxonomy or the method by which each is defined, stored, and retrieved. We have used this for very large scale CD-ROM, multimedia, DVD productions, and we're bringing that to the cloud as well now for digital rights management. So broadly, has to be understood in how content has to be uh, you have to break it up into the right form. So we have to understand the basics. It comes from different channels, different stakeholders and players are involved in each of these processes. So we need to understand that. So we broadly define video as being TV and footage, film and DVD, the industries behind it, business video, home video. Home video today, we have a lot of TikTok and a whole lot of content coming from homes with mobile phones. So video is evolving in a particular way. Audio is also evolving. Radio, we have business audio, we have CD digital. There's a lot of music which is happening. So audio is being created in a range of ways from the grassroots and from the top, funded, non-funded, public. So there's a whole lot of things happening. Images have grown wildly with mobile phones. Earlier, you had to go and process. You own a camera, you process the film. It would take days. Now with digital, you can snap hundreds of photographs in seconds and you can upload it. So images have taken off in a different way. There's a whole technology behind that. There are social media sites. Um, so that's evolving in its own way. Text has always been there. HTML, hypertext markup language, is the basis and the roots of the internet from which we have come today to the internet being everything else. Even the mobile, the first step in a mobile, apart from voice to voice calls on a phone, was the SMS, 160 humble 160 characters text, which could be sent back and forth, which has evolved into chat and WhatsApp and messengers and everything else. So that has its own history and how it has grown. All this are files. So eventually they become stored files or streaming files. Then there are patents, there are blueprints, there are drawings, there are bills of materials. So files of a variety of, apart from these. So we have this fifth category in GCA, where it's apart from the top four which you have seen. In fact, we call them very simply A, B, C, D, small alphabets, small upper lowercase letters A, B, C, D, E, which you will see in some of our other videos. It's completely implemented in Klextra. Now, once this is produced, there is a replication factor. You have a mastering concept. You'll have the original masters, which is of very high quality. You'll have adaptations of it in different media. So production can happen in various ways. Prints, we call them prints, or we call them, depending on the industry and uh, where it goes. They could be prints of books, it could be prints of film, it could be copies of digital content. So they have to be controlled. And if you're going to monetize it, you have to track every piece of it. Inherently, computers are weak in that sense, and you have to copy it. It copies from the hard disk into memory for you to be able to play it back. So there is an inherent, no, nothing is original, at any point in a computer. There are ways to manage that, and that becomes a part of security. And how we manage that, it's a different topic. So we can protect everything, provided there's no copying. But inherently, there is a copy factor, even from your hard disk or from the remote site coming into your laptop. There is a copy being made. Uh, Encoding is a key aspect of those security standards which I was just talking about, because people are concerned about security. So if you lock it up and don't give it to anybody, don't make any copy, it's very safe. But then how do you monetize it? How do you make money out of it? How do you make multiple copies? The more copies you sell, demand and supply, you get a revenue from that. So we'll discuss that in a separate thing. So the playout and storage of this can be through storage area networks, SANs. It could be conventional media, CD-ROMs, DVD. Now everything is moving online, wired or wireless. So it could move through a wire, which has its own implications, and it can be wireless through the air. So these are two primary ways of distribution um, without a media. Distribution happens through call operators, cable, so phone companies, retail, when it's a discrete product, so distribution, and then we have consumption, which is taking place across all these platforms in various ways. So this is a content chain, and there's money right up and down the chain, left to right, top to the bottom. So how do you monetize what's your role in all of this? How can you monetize some part of the content or bits of the content, or not even, or don't monetize it? If you have something else and your delivery is anything somewhere not in the content chain, there's no point in talking about content as a potential profit center.